Hey everybody, we're live. How you doing there? It's Bruce here, traveling with Bruce. Welcome to TWB for Monday, May the 18th, 2020. I just got off the air with my sponsor members, and I'm having too much fun today. And I want to say thank you and welcome to all of you here on Monday night for the big show at 8 o'clock, talking about cruise ships and cruise ship developments and what's going on out there, and visiting with you, my wonderful viewers from around the world. Welcome each and every one of you to this channel, to my broadcast, to regular broadcast Monday night. And nice to have you here. Just pardon me while I'm looking down at my phone here, making sure I'm on the air. I've been having all kinds of fun today. On my first show, I was having all kinds of issues where I wasn't showing up. I wasn't able to get on my own channel, but I think I've pulled that off. I'm okay here now. Let's see if we're on the big ass iPad here, and make sure it's all good to go. Yep, here we are. A bunch of you are here. Fantastic. Welcome welcome all to TWB. I want to say something right off the bat because I missed it. It just went over my head with all of my issues with respect to my channel and technical problems. I was just having some technical problems on my sponsor member show, but I got that resolved. Took a while, but I got it done. But I totally missed this right here. Welcome, new sponsor member. It's Jason412. He became a sponsor member today of my channel, and he was on the sponsor member show, and it didn't even occur to me that that's a new sponsor. That's how frazzled I was on the last, just 20 minutes ago, just going nuts. So I want to welcome it's Jason412. Welcome, sir, to TWB. You're now a sponsor member of the channel. Thank you so much for becoming one, making the commitment to join us, and of course that gives you a couple of perks. One of which you get to use all kinds of emojis that we have custom made just for sponsor members, and you get to join me and the gang at 7 o'clock for the pregame show every Monday night. And it's nice that you did that, and welcome. I definitely wanted to mention that. I know I have had new people join me on my my sponsor members. I have new sponsor members in the last 10 days. I really do. But I've had issues for the last roughly 10 days with my channel. I'm having real problems here with my YouTube channel where I cannot access my own channel on my own laptop, which you're watching me on right now. This is the kooky part about it. I can only make live videos on my own channel right now. I cannot make a regular video that's 3 minutes long, 18 minutes long, 14 minutes. I can't do a regular video. Cannot log in through Google to YouTube because I've got a Google sign-in problemo that just cannot get resolved at this point in time. I've reached out to Google, I've reached out to YouTube. They've come back to me with some solutions that are not working, and now people are supposed to contact me. Well, it's been a while, and yeah, I'm having endless frustrations. And so if you've been wondering, well, why is he talking so much on the air on a camera all the time? Why doesn't he just make his regular videos? Because he's got a face for radio. That's why, because I can make a video on my software, but I can't upload it to YouTube, and I can't find any way around to do it. The weirdness of it is, however, I have access to my YouTube channel through my telephone and my iPad, my big ass iPad, where I can see my stats and I can see how many views are coming in, but I can't get all the detailed analytics that I love to read and know about. I can't get my hands on that stuff. So I'm working with one arm tied behind my back right now. And earlier today, I did do what I call the closest thing to a video I could possibly do, and that was I went live and didn't talk to any of you. I just went live like a little news broadcast for 13 minutes, talked about a couple of issues, and got off the air, and let that video just do whatever it can do. And it's been viewed several thousand times, which is great. Thank you. And a lot of thumbs ups. Thank you. And a lot of comments. People who love it, people who hate it, people who love me, people who hate me, the usual. But that's the closest thing I can do to a regular video. And it's not as easy because I can't do a retake. I can't redo take 1, take 2, take 3. It's a one shot. live deal. All the flaws are in there with really poor photographic imagery that I can issue. So, folks, thanks for hanging around and watching this poor old YouTuber do what he can with what little he has and what little he knows on the technical side, because at the age that I'm at, I am not 24 years old able to just go, oh, what does this button do? And then fix it. I'm chicken to push buttons because I hate to screw things up. And I've screwed up my Google account somehow because I can't get into my channel. And one of my fears has come true, that you clicked something, Bruce, you did something, and now you can't get into your own channel, and that'll teach you. Well, great. Now I don't know how to fix it. Anyway, welcome all to the Traveling with Bruce Monday night show. If you're thinking that this is a 10-minute quickie, you're wrong. I will be on for a while. And so, folks, if I'm boring you, I apologize. I got a lot to talk to you about today. I've got a lot of news for you. I've got a lot of information for you tonight. And I will also be looking to say hi to everybody. But again, Jason, you're here. You're the latest addition to my a subscriber family, a sponsor member family, and I appreciate that. I welcome all of you who have become sponsors of this channel. We just broke 54,700 subscribers this morning. We're on our way to 55,000. Another 300, we have 55,000 subs. The number of subs joining this channel are plummeting because the analytics are not working the same without regular videos being posted onto the channel. My channel's analytics are used to me putting out 5 videos a week at least, plus a live show or two. And right now I'm doing like 5 or 6 live shows a week with no videos. And so the computers at YouTube are going, what's wrong with TWB? We're not going to promote him as much if he's not doing what we expect him to be doing. And I'm just going, I'm trying here. Just let me in. I can't get in. Okay. So there you go. So if anyone at YouTube is watching, or if any of you out there know somebody that works at YouTube, would you mind doing me a little favor? Would you mind letting someone over there know that this YouTuber is in no man's land, and I'm really having a tough time with it. And my email is down below in the description here. They can contact me there. So tell me what the heck to do to get back into my own channel through my laptop. I've tried everything that YouTube suggests on their help page, everything in Google Help. I've done it all 1,000 times to no avail. Absolutely no success whatsoever. And so I'm now waiting for apparently someone is going to contact me from Google and or YouTube. There's a pandemic going on. No one's at the office, so I have no idea what's going on. Welcome all to the happy times at TWB. Just looking at all the comments for the first 5-10 minutes are from sponsor members, and I thank all of you so much for being here and following my channel and supporting me. I cannot begin to thank you enough for that, especially these days with my ad rates plummeting to zero because of the absolute lack of advertising being done on YouTube these days. So thank you. Thanks. All of you are giving me thumbs up. So I appreciate it very much. I cannot thank you folks enough. So folks out there, all of you who are doing this, if you're subscribing, thank you. If you're giving me thumbs ups, thank you very much. If you're going to Facebook and becoming a member of the Facebook group page, thank you very much. 4,500 and counting. Instagram followers. Yeah. Thank you very much for being an Instagram follower. Love it. And those of you who are trying, there's some of you, a number of you are trying to go to RedBubble. And most of you who want to go there are having success. Some of you are not. And I'm sorry about that. Again, what is RedBubble? It is an online store that sells merchandise for creators like me. And here is what I'm talking about. You can get a TWB logo or a Sextant logo or this kind of logo or many other logos on all kinds of stuff. Let me just kind of go back here. I gotta make an adjustment. Sorry, folks. Let me do that. And there you go. So you can see, you can get travel mugs, you can get women's tops, you can get T-shirts for guys, you can get COVID face masks like these. Sorry if I'm going too fast, but there's all kinds of product and merchandise available on the RedBubble store. Anything that's purchased on the RedBubble store, a royalty is paid to me because these logos are TWB logos, and RedBubble will produce the product for you, whether it's a coffee mug with this logo on it, or these coffee mugs over here, or that coffee mug over there. There's 35 logos, so there's 35 different coffee mugs you can get, or travel mugs, or shirts, or whatever. In some cases, there are 30 to 35 items with the same logo on it. It just goes on and on and on. Check out the link down below, and if they have a search bar and you can't find anything TWB, just type in there "traveling with Bruce," hit search, and it should pick up. You should be picking up links to this stuff. And if you get anything, thank you. I've noticed in the last 2 weeks now, my number one selling item are those COVID masks. It's like not a day goes by without an order or two going through the system for the new one. So guys, all of you out there who are ordering these, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Jennifer is stunned, just stunned. She cannot believe it. And again, I thank all of you. All right, let's get to some news, and because that's what you're here for, cruise ship talk. What's going on in the cruise world? I did a video earlier today, and I'll quickly recap that. I talked about the fact that Norway has extended their shutdown of cruising into Norway until August the 20th of this summer. So kiss Norway cruises goodbye for this year. I think they're going to extend it again. These kinds of images right here, that image right there, is what Norway, cruising on a cruise ship in Norway is what it's all about. You go down these fjords, you end up at these quaint little villages from time to time. You can take, in some cases, you can take tours from here. You can go way up here and take a picture like this, or you get a shot like that. Here's another one. Norway is an absolute delight with the waterfalls coming down the side of these fjords. But I will admit that even in July and August, it can be cool. And so you might be on a lounger like these folks are, but you're wearing your hoodie and you got a blanket on you because after all, the ship is moving. And if you're moving into the wind, you got a 15-mile-an-hour wind coming on you. And it can feel a bit cool, but it is gorgeous, crisp air. If you like cruising in Alaska, you're going to like cruising in Norway, but you're not cruising this year. Sorry to say, Norway is shut down until August 20th. And that means a whole bunch of cruises are either going to be canceled or just not available. As I have been speculating now for weeks, I have been insistent, and I'm not being shaken off of my platform. I don't think they'll be cruising for the remainder of this year for sure. I think 2020 is a write-off, but 2021 is doubtful as well. We will see. I always hope for the best, but these kinds of images here are just not happening this year from cruise ships. So if you want to see views like this, first you got to figure out a way to get to Norway. I don't even know if you're going to be allowed to fly into Norway this year because I don't think the airports are open for international flights anyway. And even then, travel within Norway I think is highly restricted because they're on lockdown and they're trying to battle this virus too. So this is something that we may not be able to do for another year or so. But I bring it to your attention as is the first news item of the day, which I talked about in my video that I made this morning, the short live show that I did. Jan is telling me I have 92 thumbs ups right now. This is unprecedented. I don't think I've ever had 92 thumbs ups this early in this show. 244 of you are here. If you can throw a thumbs up to this guy right now, hit that darn thing, and it'll lighten up the analytics at the channel at YouTube headquarters, and they'll promote this show and or the channel. So please do it. That would be great. All right. The second thing that I talked about today on the video that I made earlier was to do with the Philippines. I've been talking now for weeks about how cruise lines are taking their crew back home with their own ships. I mean, they are literally repatriating their crew members, thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of them via ship. Now, here is an image I uploaded this morning on Cruise Mapper. 116 thumbs up. You just popped 20 in there, you guys. 25 of them. Thank you. Give me more. Thank you so much. This is beautiful. Here's an image from Cruise Mapper I popped up this morning, and you can see here different color triangles with the Philippines there in sort of the lower middle area of this picture. On the upper end is Taiwan. Far right is China with Hong Kong over there, and the very far right lower corner is Vietnam, Cambodia. Anyway, you might notice the three yellow kind of look like triangles. Those are three cruise ships, I believe, from Holland America. I think we're talking about the Noordam, the Westerdam, and the Maasdam. They are headed for the Philippines, I believe, right now. Above those three is a green-colored ship up there. That is the Diamond Princess. That was the ship that was the first one to catch all that media attention around the world. She left Yokohama about 3 days ago, heading now for Malaysia. Very few people on that ship. There might be 100 crew on there. They're just headed to Malaysia to hang out and try to get a cruise season started later this year. So we'll see what happens there. And then down below the three yellow, there's another green colored ship. That's another princess ship. And I'm assuming it's headed for the Philippines. All right, now let me zoom in a little bit, because here is what we saw this morning. Early this morning, my time. This is in Manila Harbor, or the harbor in Manila, the Philippines. Those are the cruise ships that are parked right now. They're docked. They're just sitting in the water, waiting to offload crew members to the Philippines. And we're talking about the Queen Elizabeth from Cunard, Carnival Spirit, the Voyager of the Seas. That's Royal Caribbean, of course. Quantum of the Seas, Costa Serena, Celebrity Solstice, Ovation of the Seas, Royal Princess, Costa Venezia, the Amsterdam, the Eurodam, Ruby Princess, Majestic Princess, the Caledonian Sky, Sea Princess, Sapphire Princess, I think it is. There's a Carnival Splendor. There's a couple kind of on top of each other there. I can't quite read them all. Pacific Explorer, Costa, Neo Romantica, and the Pacific Dawn, and the Carnival Panorama. There are more than this, all right? These are the ships that are out there. And to give you an idea from land here, look at this picture. There's an image from a top of a building in Manila out to sea, and you can see here these ships, just some of them. It's just a smidgen of them all, from left to right. There they all are, waiting with thousands and thousands of passengers. Sean Spauman, thank you very much. I just noticed that you've made a donation to my channel. Thank you. Saying that it's been over 60 days now. I canceled my Royal Caribbean cruise. Haven't received my refund. I called last week and they told me it still didn't go through. Any advice? I'd wait 90 days, give them another 30. They have the money. They do have the money. They're just short of staff. They've just been laying off at least half of their staff, and the rest of their staff, I think, are on 4-day work weeks. A lot of them are working from home, and they have to do coordinated work between various people to get these done. But just hang in there. But it will be refunded. But just hang tough. And thank you for your support. I do appreciate it. So look at that picture. Isn't that something? Here's another one. This one here is kind of a hazy shot, but this looks like it's from like a helicopter. And we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's at least 5 I can see, maybe 6. This is just an angle of what they're doing. They're all sitting there with thousands and thousands of crew members. This one here is stunning. This is from way up high. This got to be a satellite image. Look at all the ships sitting there. Those little slivers in the water. There's got to be 20 of them or something there, right there. Unbelievable. Keep in mind, folks, like the Carnival Panorama, to give you an idea, that ship can handle 4,000 passengers and 1,000 crew. So the Panorama could have 5,000 people on it. Now, are there 5,000 Filipinos on that ship to be offloaded? I don't think so, but could there be 3,500 in total that are getting off this ship, with maybe 200 or 300 remaining on the ship to just operate it? Yeah, that could well be. And if that's the case, say it's 3,000 passengers or 3,000 crew members per ship that you're looking at right there, you're looking at 60,000 crew members, maybe more. And in the Philippines, the deal is simple, that you cannot offload these crew members by just pulling into the port and dumping them off. No. The Filipino Coast Guard sends out their medical people to each ship one at a time. and they measure every crew member on board that wants to get off for the virus. They're testing all of them. And even if you come off negative, you're cleared, you're good, you still, here's the deal: the ship will now come to the shore, come to the port, will dock, and you will have the people get off the ship, and they go into buses, and they go into a 2-week quarantine on top of that. So even if you're completely clear, you still have to go into a 2-week quarantine, and that is probably the problem they're having right now, is that there are already likely hundreds of thousands of Filipinos in quarantine, and every day so many thousands are let go from the quarantine period that they've been in already. Keep in mind that this country had a typhoon last week, like a hurricane, and there's been damage and reports, and they're having all kinds of problems. So they might allow 5 to 10,000 Filipinos a day off of these ships. Well, that might be 2 or 3 a day. That's it. And I don't know if they're even into that cycle yet. So it could take a couple of weeks before all of these crew people on these ships even get off these ships to then begin their own 2-week quarantine. So they're not going to see their families for another month, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks more. And they're that close to their homeland. They can see it from there. So this is a story I did this morning, and it is heartbreaking, and it's sad to see, but this is showing you here just how much money the cruise lines are spending to get their crew people home. You have, like I said, the Panorama. If the Panorama is sitting out there in the water with 4,000 crew members on board, they have to be fed 3 times a day. They have to be, they got to use the bathrooms. You got to air condition the ship. You have to have electricity. You got to have the TVs running. You got to have internet. You got to let them talk to their families. I mean, they're just there to let them reassure their children and their wives and relatives that they're fine and they're okay, and they're waiting it out. Carnival's doing what they can, but with 4,000 people on one ship, 3 meals a day, think about the amount of food that they have to go through. Think about the amount of water they have to produce. Think about the costs to Carnival to house 4,000 human beings on board the ship 24/7 until they're allowed to disembark. It wouldn't surprise me that some of these ships come into Manila or supply ships go out to these ships in the harbor and transfer food onto the ships at sea so they can keep feeding them out there before they're allowed off the ship. That is how drastic it is. And this, to me, this image here and this image here, what this shows me is what the Philippines are all about. I've had a couple comments from people about this comment, so I will modify my comment here. But those of you who don't know, but I think most of you watching me, you do know this, that the Philippines are noted. They're noted and known for one main export that they export around the world. And what do they export? Human labor. They have there've got to be millions. There have got to be millions of Filipinos around the world who work either on cruise ships like this as nannies, au pairs, hospital workers, and as I've been told on a couple of comments, there are also nurses and doctors and surgeons and professors and high-end people too. I didn't want to indicate or intimate that the labor coming out of the Philippines is purely lower end labor. That's not the case. Filipinos are well educated, well mannered, well suited, and hardworking, loyal, and dedicated to their jobs and careers. And with respect to cruise ships, those of you who've cruised a number of times, like I know a bunch of you have, you folks know what I know, and that is the crews on board these ships. You and I have met Filipino crew members on our cruises, and a number of us have had very positive interactions with these crew members, with these people. We know that they love to talk to you about their homeland. They think nothing of sharing their information with you about whether they have children or not, or they're married or not. I've had the pleasure of meeting crew members at London Heathrow on their way to Miami to catch the Norwegian Jade, same ship I was heading for with Jennifer a few years back in 2015. They were headed to the Jade to start a new contract. Two of them were starting their 12th and 14th year, and one of them was starting their 6th year with the company, and they loved their work. They loved their coworkers. They loved the work, the job, and their families counted on them to send money home for their mums and dads and uncles and children and you name it. And they were happy to do it because they knew that although they worked their butts off, they were all moving up the ladder. None of these three that I met were at the bottom end of the ship. They were all moving up in the various management levels, and they were being encouraged by Norwegian to continue to train and move up the ladder, and they were, and their dollars were moving up the ladder. These were not underpaid third world people. These are people who were able to send money home to their families to make a serious difference in their lives. And here they are. They're all here, from dishwashers to laundry workers to supervisors, bartenders, entertainment coordinators, engineers, engine people, air conditioning system specialists, water specialists, you name it, bridge crew. They're all here. There are 40, 50, 60, 70,000 of them trying to get home because they have been told by their employer there isn't going to be any cruising anytime soon from what we know and see and can tell you, because ports are not opening for months and months. And international travel is going to be highly restricted. Airlines are still not flying and won't be for a while. And when we need you, you'll get a call. You'll be sent an email. You'll be connected. You'll be contacted. And those of you who are obviously the hardest working of the bunch, you'll be definitely brought back first, without a doubt. There are people here who've been working for cruise lines since they were 20 years old, 21 years old, who are now in their 40s and 50s. And the cruise lines are going to be counting on them to want to come back. And there they are. So that was the second part of the story I did today when I did my video earlier today, talking about what was happening out in the Philippines. Unbelievable. And that's just the Philippines. This is happening in Indonesia. This is happening in India. This is happening in Europe. It's Southampton. There are ships going all over the world right now, repatriating their crews. South America, the Caribbean. There's another story I want to bring up in this show that I want to talk to you about. And this was about Jamaica. I want to talk to you about Jamaica quickly. The Adventure of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean ship, Adventure of the Seas. By the way, let me just... I have to do this. Pardon me. One more. Yeah, there's that highlight right there. Sean, thank you so much. I'm leaving it up there. Okay, Jamaica, Adventure of the Seas. They have 1,044 Jamaican nationals, crew members, that they're trying to bring back to Jamaica. Okay, they're sailing them home. They've gathered them all up. The Royal Caribbean ships, as you know, I've done a video where Royal Caribbean gathered up a bunch of their ships all around Coco Cay or Coco Key, however you like to say it, and they reassigned crew members to various ships, and they've sent ships to the Philippines, to Europe, South America. Well, this ship, Adventure of the Seas, is heading to Jamaica with 1,044 Jamaican crew members. This is not a top secret mission. This is not like a kept secret that no one knows about. This is known. The opposition members of the government of Jamaica last week were questioning the Prime Minister in the Parliament building in Kingston, Jamaica, the capital of Jamaica, saying, hey, look, the Adventure of the Seas is sailing towards us right now with 1,044 of our countrymen. Where are they going? Can you let the families of these 1,044 Jamaican workers, could you publicly announce to the nation where this ship is headed so that the families can figure out how to get their boys and girls home from whatever port you're letting them come into? The Prime Minister of Jamaica was quoted today as saying, what was that word I was looking for? They're not able to. Okay. The ship was headed for Falmouth, from what I understand. Here we go. Prime Minister says no date for arrival has been granted for the ship to dock in Jamaica. I'm thinking, hey, the ship is coming from Coco Cay in the Bahamas to Jamaica. That's like 2 days max. I mean, 1 day, 1 night, 1 day. It's there. This is a no-brainer, folks. It can circle Jamaica in a day and a half. And the prime minister is saying he has no date when the ship is coming in. Well, that's because the government isn't reaching out to Royal Caribbean. They're not working together on this. Royal Caribbean is telling the Jamaican government, hey, we got 1,044 of your people that we want to drop off on your land, on your turf. Tell us where to take them and tell us what you want to do. Do you want us to quarantine them for 2 weeks in port on the ship? Do you want them to be health checked when they get there? Do you have quarantine facilities set up for them? Obviously not. Nothing has been done. Crew members have been in quarantine on the ship now for over 2 weeks. Jamaica is not able to handle their own medical and quarantine needs, and so they have shut down the country to all travel in and out. This country is so dysfunctional that 1,044 of their own countrymen are literally stranded at sea, probably 5 miles offshore, 10 miles offshore Jamaica, with nowhere to go. The country of Jamaica won't let them in. Now, the hope I have is that the ship will come into Falmouth and will be allowed to dock at the port that was built by cruise line and Jamaican government money in the last 5-10 years. They spend all kinds of money to build a giant port there to handle Oasis class ships. They can handle 2 at a time. And there's got to be a program put together to get these folks off the ship so they can get home to their families. What the hell are they thinking? A month and a half ago, another ship tried to return crew to Jamaica, several hundred crew members. The country denied the ship entry into its country with its own countrymen, made the ship leave. The ship ended up sailing to Southampton in the United Kingdom, all the way to England. And the crew were quarantined there for 2 weeks, which was fine. I don't know who paid for it, probably the Brits. And the crew members then were able to catch a charter flight that was being organized to get Jamaicans home from the United Kingdom back to Jamaica. These workers had to hitch a ride on a government-sponsored some kind of charter flight to get home from England when they were there. They were right there in Jamaica, and they had to sail all the way. It took them a month to get back, if not 5 weeks, to get all the way back home. Talk about completely dysfunctional. You wonder about the third world, and Jamaica just can't get out of it. Can't get out of the third world, stumbling over their own 2 feet. I get so upset about it that I'm so sorry. It is really frustrating. All right. That was the story there. I did mention over the weekend, I don't know if you caught this news or not, but the folks over at Princess had to let go half of their staff in the U.S., layoffs and furloughs. The remaining staff members are all taking pay cuts. They're all working shorter hours, and they're all working from home. This is a continual collapse of the cruise line staffs around the U.S. Holland America did that on Friday night, Thursday night. Also, Carnival let go a bunch of people. Royal Caribbean, MSC, Cunard, and P&O UK in Southampton let go half of their staff overnight. The carnage just doesn't stop. Norwegian has done it. It's gone on and on and on. So that news came out as well. As I said earlier, I mentioned that the Diamond Princess, I was telling you about how the Diamond Princess is sailing to Malaysia from Yokohama. I can tell you that all mattresses, linens, and room ornaments have been replenished. So all mattresses are out, all linens are out, all towels are out. Anything and everything that people were handling that were on the ship, all passengers handling, off. The ship did a complete disinfection. This is now a month and a half, 2 months ago. There is a skeleton staff on board now. Everything that's on the ship is new, completely new and sanitary. And the ship is ready for new sailings whenever it happens. And we don't know when that's going to be. 2 more pieces of news for you. I'm going to give you a little bit of airline news. It's just a little bit, and then I got a Royal Caribbean story for you. From the airline point of view, I I read today talking about, and I'm noticing it, you may have noticed or you're hearing it yourselves, how airlines want to start flying again with passengers. As states in the U.S. are slowly opening up and allowing more freedom of movement, airlines are hoping to get more business together, and so more planes are going to be recalled. But I can tell you that what I read this morning was stunning. In the last 90 days, only 3 months, the world governments, all the governments of the world who are trying to assist their own national airlines to stay alive, to stay in business, world governments have now pumped $85 billion into the airline business so far to keep airlines alive in one form or another. And of course, in the USA, it's 50 odd $billion. Canada, it's been billions. It's just absolutely stunning. I found that to be a fascinating figure. All right, now a Royal Caribbean story for you. All right. The folks at Royal Caribbean found themselves in a unique little quandary, like all other cruise lines and now airlines and many other businesses. But in the case of Royal Caribbean, they really found themselves in a bit of a bind. They had about 2 weeks ago a moment in time where they realized that in about a month or so, 30 odd days, 60 days away, they had to come up with $2.3 billion of cash to pay off an IOU, a loan that they had taken out a couple of years ago that was maturing in that next 60 days. And they didn't have $2.3 billion lying around. They had been raising money already to try to stay alive and all this, but they needed $2.3 billion just for this little issue. And they were trying to figure out a way how to do that. And they went to their bankers on Wall Street, because this is a publicly traded company. They went to their bankers, who they've dealt with for years and years and years. And they've got friends there. You find out who your real friends are on Wall Street at a time like this. But in any event, they went there, and they were telling their friends the bankers in Wall Street, look, we own a bunch of cruise ships. Now, we do have loans against them here and there, and all that kind of stuff. But we have a lot of assets. We have an island in the Caribbean that's $250 million, and it's up and running. It's a great unit. We have other assets here and there. We have office buildings in Miami and land and blah, 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 blah. But we need to raise cash. And the $2.3 billion that they needed was already had assets pledged against it. So if they could find a way to borrow against the same asset that the $2.3 billion had, they would then just roll it over. They would just borrow $2.3 billion. The old loan would be paid off the same day the money came in from the new loan, and then the ownership of the lien against whatever assets would just transfer over to the bondholders over here. Well, the problem, of course, right now is that the cruise line is not bringing in a dime through the front door. They have no paying passengers, so it's kind of hard to borrow money from a banker when the banker kind of goes, well, why is your cash register closed? How are you going to pay me back if your cash register is closed? So Royal Caribbean had to come up with a way to convince the street, the so-called Wall Street people, you should lend us money, and here's a way we can do it that'll make you feel comfortable. All right. Because the bankers are going, if you could show us a way to lend you money that's comfortable, we'll lend you all the money you want, because we love lending money. That's what we do for a living. We lend money. We find people who have money, and we gather it up, and then we get it to you, and then you pay interest for the money, and we get a fee to put this deal together. We love doing stuff like this. So the Royal Caribbean people and the bankers of Wall Street figured out a way to put this deal together. And what they ended up doing was, the cruise line used 28 ships as collateral for a loan that they wanted to put together. But only 50% of the cash they were going to get would be secured by the ships themselves. So in effect, if your pension fund bought $10 million of this offering, only $5 million would be backed by ship assets. The other $5 million would be unsecured. This isn't going to go over too well with the pension funds and mutual funds and private investment entities. They don't like working these kinds of deals. So there's only a couple things you can do. You can either pay us an outrageous interest rate for that, like you got to really pay some really scary interest rates, and then we'll lend you that kind of money, or you got to come up with something that gives us more assurance that this $5-10 million bucks we're giving you is protected. And that's what they did. Oh, by the way, thank you. Someone just made another donation. Scott Weber, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Talking about how the stocks did well today. Yes, they did. I'll talk about that in a minute. Thank you for your donation. All right. The 28 ships were being offered, but only half was going to be offered. Half of it was going to be guaranteed by the ships. And so what the cruise line did with their brokerage firm, they came up with a unique deal. And it's kind of like, pretend that you're a borrower, and you have a house. Let's say you own your house outright. It's worth $200,000. Just, I'm playing with numbers, and you need to borrow money because you have a store in your shopping mall in your town, and you had to shut it down because of the virus, and you need money to pay bills over there. You're going to use your house as collateral. Well, your banker's going to go, hey, if I lend you money against your house, how are you going to pay the loan off and all this sort of stuff? So you're saying, look, I need to borrow $100,000 on my house that will pay $100,000 in debts that I already have elsewhere, like credit cards and all that. I'm going to pay all those off, all my car loans and everything, and that's going to bring my interest rate down to a mortgage level, you see, and that brings my monthly payments much lower than what I'm paying now on my debts. But I need more than that. And so that's what Royal Caribbean's situation was. And so Royal Caribbean said, we want to pay off this $2.3 billion that we owe on, or roughly $2 billion, whatever it was. We would like to borrow another 50% more. And they came up with something called a stock pledge. And what it is it's a first right of access to an asset if the company goes bankrupt. And in effect, what it means is, if theoretically Royal Caribbean declared bankruptcy today, the bondholders that have bonds pledged against the ships would be the first paid off if the ships were sold to somebody else, all right? Or if someone else bought the ships, borrowed the money to buy the ships, they would then transfer the money to the bondholders who have bonds against the ships. In other words, it's a transfer of debt. But now with this little kicker called a stock pledge, the rest of the money that would be brought in over and above the cost of the bonds, that money now would go towards the same borrowers, the same lenders that we have right here, the people who bought these bonds. So the Wall Street boys went to the street and said, look, the cruise line has 28 ships. They're worth at least $12 billion. At least $12 billion. All right. They need to raise $2 billion to pay off this IOU they've got over here. They got $12 billion in assets. We're offering a deal where you get 50% coverage on your money, and the other 50% is on a stock pledge on the remaining equity on the vessels themselves. Who's in? And the bankers said, well, how much interest are you going to pay? Because that's the kicker now. How much can I make on this loan? How juicy is this deal? Now, to give you an idea, 6 months ago and a year ago, when Royal Caribbean went to the market, or Norwegian went to the market, or Carnival went to the stock market, any of these guys went to their bankers to borrow money, they were being offered a $1 billion loan against assets they had, 2.5% to 4.5% interest. It would vary depending on how long you needed the money for. If you needed the money for a year, it's a short-term thing, 2.5%, 2.75%. If you need the money for 2 years, 3% interest. You need the money for 3 years, give us 3.5%, 4% interest. Those are the kind of deals that were being done all the time. All right. There are bonds out right now that the Royal Caribbean issued years ago. There's one that is a 3-year bond. It's out there. It was issued years ago, like a year ago. It's got 2 years to go before it matures. And if you want to buy that bond right now on what is known as the secondary market or the bond market, these bonds trade all the time. Just because you as a pension fund bought this bond a year ago for a 3-year time limit, you can sell it the next day or the next month or anytime you want, because there's always a market for bonds that are already out there. What I'm talking about, these bonds here are new, fresh bonds that are going to be trading after they get issued. And so the 3-year bond that is out there, you can buy it right now as an investor. And if you buy that bond, it is at such a discount to its original value. It came out at 100 cents on the dollar. It's trading much below that, because when it first came out, it was probably paying 3% interest, maybe 4% interest. You can buy it at such a price that's so low now that you would make 11.7% on your money. That's how cheap that bond is. So I'm going to guess that the bond was worth $1 on the dollar, and you were getting 3.5% interest. Now you only have to pay 30 odd cents on the dollar. And the difference between the price you pay and the maturity is going to be the 11%. It's not going to be quite that cheap, but it's at least maybe, probably down to about 70 cents on the dollar. So if you bought it for, say, 70 or 75 cents on the dollar, the 25 cents that you're going to get, because the company will give you $1 for the dollar when it's maturing, there's 25 cents on the dollar plus some interest. You're going to make 11.7%. Forgive me, I'm on the fly. I'm thinking this on the fly. There's a 5-year bond out right now that's trading. If you buy that bond, you can get 12.3% on your money. And so Royal Caribbean was talking to their bankers about this new bond issue, going, we need to raise $2 billion to pay off this old bond that we have out there. And the bankers going, well, the pension funds that we're going to approach, they can go into the open market right now and just buy existing bonds that you've already issued. And they can get 11.7 to 12.3% right now. They could just buy bonds you already pledged. Why would they buy a new bond? If you're going to offer 8% today, they're not going to buy the 8% bond. They can get a bond you put out a couple of years ago for 12 and get 12.5. And so the company came out with, yes, we agree, we understand. We're going to we'll issue these bonds, and we'll pay a higher interest rate. They offered, they were told that if they tried to offer notes without any collateral, if they were just trying to issue bonds without any collateral against the bond itself, the minimum interest rate would be 20%, and it would be likely over 25% interest. That's a credit card. That's a credit card interest rate. They came out with a 28-ship deal and $12 billion in assets, and the street offered them $3.3 billion in cash right now. They offered them actually more than that. You can have more than $3.3 billion, but Royal Caribbean accepted $3.3 billion in cash, and they took $2 billion, paid off the old note, and $1.3 billion went into the bank account. So Royal Caribbean has $1.3 million fresh cash, and they're burning $250 to $275 million a month. That is another 5, 6, 7 months of life. The interest rate they're paying is about 11.5%. That's what they have to pay. That's what they had to pay for this money. So the bankers are saying, we'll take this deal at 11%, 11.5%, because you're offering $12 billion in assets against it. So that's not an issue for lots of assets. Even though they're cruise ships, we'll still take the deal. 4-to-1 coverage. But the 11.5% interest rate, that's the kicker we like to see. And so there were pension funds and mutual funds and other private investment funds willing to put up hundreds of millions of dollars each to get this deal. This is how cruise lines behind the scenes, while we're watching what's going on with the virus, and we're watching cruise lines trying to get passengers and crew home, and they're hoping to restart cruising again. Behind the scenes, the president of the company, the board of directors, the finance department, the chief accountants and auditors, these guys are playing with calculators in the back room, trying to figure out how can we raise the kind of cash we need to survive and stay in business. And this is what's going on at Wall Street. And the folks in Wall Street, of course, are making all kinds of money because Goldman Sachs and these other top-notch bankers, they're putting together a $3.3 billion dollar deal. You can bet your bottom dollar that the commission to these guys is a couple of percentage points on this deal. So for Goldman Sachs and their partners, there's $50 to $100 million in fees earned by finding the money to give to the cruise line to stick around. And the cruise line, in effect, does get $3.3 billion, but they hand out $50 to $100 million right now for fees and legal fees just to get the money. And they're paying 11.5% on all that money to stay alive. And this is what the price is for these cruise lines to stay alive, because they're not getting any assistance from the United States government or the taxpayers of the United States. None of that. They are These cruise lines are a major part of the economy of Florida. A good chunk of the LA port area and Long Beach, of course, and Galveston depends on cruise ships. So does Mobile, as would be Charleston, and of course New York with cruises out of there. But because they're not American, they cannot borrow money from the U.S. government. Of course, the U.S. government won't get any income tax from these guys because we're not American either. So it's a two-way street. But the bankers in Wall Street, even though these companies are not American, are more than happy to find a way to accommodate these guys to put the dough together to help them out. As an aside, a little footnote to this story, I did read that United Airlines, they were trying to put a deal together. They wanted to raise money from Wall Street bankers, and they wanted to pledge a bunch of their airplanes because I think United has, 800 or 1,000 planes. They have a ton of aircraft. But the deal fell through. The bankers in Wall Street were taking a look at the list of the airplanes that United was pledging as collateral. And the guys in Wall Street went, "Hey, there's an interesting thing here. You guys want to raise billions of dollars, and you want to use billions of dollars of planes as assets for the loan. What we've noticed here is that the list of the planes you're talking about that you're pledging to use as collateral, they're all your oldest airplanes." These are your 13 to 20-year-old airplanes. These antiques that in the next 2-3 years are going to be retired. These are the most inefficient aircraft you have. The planes that burn the most jet fuel per passenger mile, because the brand new airplanes that you're getting, those new Dreamliners and the brand new planes from Airbus, they burn way less jet fuel per passenger mile than the old 757s you got over here or those other old aircraft. We're not interested in that deal. You take those planes. You got to go to somebody else to borrow money against those guys, because those planes haven't got a life. They've got 2 years in the air and they're done for. And the way the recovery is going, you're not going to be flying your garbage aircraft for years. You're only going to be flying your most fuel efficient airplanes first, because every passenger you bring in right now, you're going to try to make as much money off them as possible by keeping your costs down as low as possible, which means you're going to fly your newest planes, and these old clunkers you're not going to bring back into the sky like ever. You might not ever bring them back into the sky. So sorry guys, we're not interested in this deal. We're not. We can't lend you like $2 or $3 billion against these old clunker aircraft. We're just not going to do that. So I found that to be an interesting little caveat to the deal. Whereas when our friends at Royal Caribbean came to Wall Street, they said, "Guys, here's the deal. Here's the deal, guys. We're coming in with all our ships. We're coming in with our newest, latest. Includes all of them, and this $2 billion note is paying off IOUs against some of the ships. We're just going to roll those over into this new bond offering. Who wants to play ball?" Scott Weber, thank you for that $5 donation. Cruise stocks and travel companies today did really well in the markets. Wall Street is becoming a bit more bullish about the vaccine. Absolutely correct, sir. I was going to say something else about the deal. Yeah. Okay. Royal Caribbean did raise $3.3 billion. The bankers and all the investors, pension funds, mutual funds, everybody, they told the cruise line, if you need another $3 billion, just give us the word. You can have it like that. $3 billion more, 11.5% interest, anytime you need it. So Royal Caribbean is sitting in their back pocket. They've got a deal in their back pocket, a pledge for another $3 billion cash, which gives them another year of life beyond all the money they've raised already. All right. So Royal Caribbean has enough access to cash to last until 2023. Just in case you're all wondering, how long can they live with what the kind of money they've raised? Yeah, with what they have, they're good till 2023. So that was a most interesting a bit of behind the scenes stuff that I dug up this morning, and I love shit like this. I really do. It's fascinating to me. I find it really interesting. All right, now let's talk about the stock market today, and let's take a look at prices of stocks. Here's Royal Caribbean today. There it is. 43.70 was the close, up $6 odd a share. And in the aftermarket, it went up another 51 cents. So it was over $44 in the aftermarket today. Very good. Sorry about the blurry picture. And over here on Norwegian, yeah, here we go. Norwegian closed at $12.88 a share today, and it went up another 12 cents overnight to close at $13 a share. I'm sorry if that's coming in again blurry. I apologize. And here's Caribbean or Caribbean Carnival. Here's Carnival, $14.72 during the day, and then in the evening it looks like at $14.98, up 26 cents more. So up to $2.24. Or $2.22 over today. That's more than a 10% gain. 17% gains today for the cruise lines. For the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it gained 911 points today. There it is right there. I don't know if you can see that very well, but 911 points gained to 24,000 plus. And the market liked what it heard today. And so we had a bit of an uptick. Although last week there were quite a number of days in a row last week where we had some down days. And so you know how the markets are. They fluctuate around and around. But cruise lines today had a breakout, and they were definitely being liked by the cruise by investors today. They liked what they saw, and they wanted in. And so that's what I noticed today. So there you go. We have 321 people watching the show right now. Welcome all of you from around the world who are watching me today. Say hi to me if you like. Tell me where you're watching me from. Love to say hi to you if I can. I'll do the best I can going forward here. Thank you for thumbs ups today for this show, this broadcast. I hope that you're able to find your way clear to hit the thumbs up button for this telecast and tell YouTube by doing that more people should join in, and I do appreciate it. Thank you for watching my videos and supporting this channel in every way that you do. I love it. Like I say, lots of comments coming in. Kaji, King, Starsky, Warren Buffett says not to buy stock in airlines or cruise lines. Warren is entitled to his opinion, of course. Flapsdown Aviation, we got 250 last week, so why not 300? We're thinking thumbs ups today. That would be wonderful. Yay, Flaps, 300 thumbs ups or bust for Bruce. Made in the USA, especially when you can't pack out your own waste. Albert, hi from Brazil. Where will these hulls become dirty? I don't know what that means and why. Sean, tell him no buffet, good to go. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. If the buffets might be canceled. Flapsdown Aviation, 168 in now, 168 thumbs ups, 138 to go. This was a few minutes ago, though, about 15 minutes ago. Hopefully we have more thumbs up than that right now. I really love that. Who else is here? I see Scott Weber here, Jan here. I see Sean here. Consolidate. Yippee. Lloyd is here. Hi, Lloyd. This guy is something else. Blames everybody except the cruise lines. Okay. Don't like my comment? Leave. Sean, second mortgage. Made in the USA. The halls are dirty because no one is packing out their own waste. It's being bilged overboard. There you go. JRS, 170 thumbs ups. Lloyd blames CDC, third world countries, but not these deceptive cruise lines that knew about the virus and continued to try to make money while risking the life of their customers. Yeah, as if the cruise lines created the problem in the first place. You know what I find amazing is how short memories are out there. When the Diamond Princess cruise ship found out that they had an issue, they went straight back to Yokohama, and they followed the direction of the Japanese government. It wasn't Princess that was in charge of the ship when it got back to Yokohama. It was the Japanese, and the Japanese followed all the rules of the Japanese Health Ministry, and they're the ones who are to blame or be credited for however it went down after that. But I got critics out there who hate cruise lines, cruise ships, and think nothing of just slamming them every chance they get. And if you're not a fan, go somewhere else, because this channel is all covered. We are all cruise addicts here. We love cruise lines, and we're going back the minute we get the chance. But we do know there will be changes. Chevy in first. Yeah, y'all. My cruise is still scheduled for September the 5th. I'm holding out, hoping they cancel it. You could be right there, Chevy in first. Wait for that, and you'll get a larger credit. And then, going forward, you can see what happens next. Kaji Keen just doesn't think it's a good time to buy cruise ship stock. Rebecca, go away, Lloyd. If you're not a fan of cruising, you need to go look elsewhere. There you go, Lloyd. You've been told. You got to go, buddy. Scott Weber, why not? They're really good news today. Again, people are if you're a long-term investor, buy the shares and sit on them if you want. Jan, hey, Flaps, we added 6 down to the total to get us closer to 300. Yes, that's what happens. I get thumbs ups from people who love the show. I get thumbs downs from people who hate what I talk about. What are you going to do? Sylvan, feel free to leave. Lloyd, if you're not happy here, the door is not locked. That's right. Scott, the test on the new vaccine today was big news. Moderna pharma company went up 25%. Most travel stocks really rallied on the news. And we're going to say goodbye to Lloyd permanently because some of the comments coming in from Lloyd now are a little more I would say unacceptable for the kind of channel that we have here. And I think we're going to have to just say, Lloyd, thanks for being here, but you're going to have a nice life somewhere else. Yep, there you go. You're out of here. Let's see here. Scott Weber, talking about the news could be a game changer. It's not a sure thing yet, but I read the report. Looks like a real deal. We all hope for the best, of course, but I just don't know. Carol is saying, Jan, I will hold the door open for this guy. Well, I've kicked him out. He's gone. Rebecca Reimer, Jan, thank you. Who else is here? Let me catch up with some of you. The comments are coming in beautifully now. Todd, Lloyd is entitled to his opinion, and he is, but he kind of went over the line there on a couple of comments down the road here, so we've had to excuse him from further participation at this point in time. No need for that. But hey, I'm not the be all and end all. I'm doing the best I can with what I can, with what I've got, and that's all I can do, folks. Can do no more than that. Sylvan did the right thing. I've just blocked him. I don't need this crapola. There you go. Who else? Who else is here? Let me just get through comments. JRS 181 thumbs ups. Thank you, Jan. Michael Cannon, good evening. Welcome, Michael, to the show. Nice to have you here today. Janie T, I've flown on a few old clunkers, Bruce. Yep. Let's see here. Jessica is saying, I'm cruising August the 8th. I hope it doesn't get canceled. Jessica, I don't like your chances. I'm sorry, but that's just me talking. I don't like your chances, but you never know. Steph K, I just started investing in stocks last week. I bought CCL. Any other recommendations? Well, like I say, the big three are the only three you can really buy into. And so, if you get 100 shares of each, at least you earn cruise credits when cruising begins again. And so that's a nice little perk for being a shareholder of at least 100 or more shares. But I'd wait it out and see if today was a darn good year. It was a good year today, 15% gain. Wow. Let's see here. 185 from Jan now. 185 thumbs ups now. Beautiful. Wanda's here from beautiful California. Welcome, Wanda. Nice to have you here. Sylvan is saying, hey, let's get this guy 300 thumbs ups today. That would be great. 330 of you are here now. Thank you for being here. Please throw those thumbs ups around. That would be great. Michael, Boca Raton, Florida. Nice area, man. Beautiful. Sugar Butt Williams saying San Bernardino, California. That's where I'm watching you from, man. I love San Bernardino. Love the Costco there. Big Costco at San Bernardino near Ontario Mills Mall. And you go to the hot dog stand just outside there. And usually the weather during the summer is quite comfortable to sit in the shade. Got the fans going out there. Got a lot of birds, though, always picking away for crumbs, aren't there? But I love that area. Just do. Jason, good evening, Bruce. Watching from Florida. Welcome, Jason, buddy. Nice to have you here today. James, hi from Toronto. Beautiful. Tell me where you're from, guys. This is great. Adam Ryan from San Diego, buddy. How you doing? What a beautiful city San Diego is, and beautiful people there. Man, it's gorgeous. Thank you for being here, telling me where you're from. Chris, Scorpio, are you invested in wheat stocks? No, I'm not. Brian, 198 thumbs ups, man. Chris from New Jersey, are you invested? Not invested in cannabis, but welcome from New Jersey. JRS 198. Paul Wilson, hello, Bruce and everybody. Paul Wilson, buddy, how you doing, man? Nice to have you here. Who else is here? Donato is here. Fernando. Hi, Bruce. How you doing, Donato? Welcome. Jim Riley is here. Hi, Bruce from Fairfield, California. Welcome, buddy. Carol Fassett. Bruce, you got 200 thumbs up. So you're only 100 away from 300. Folks, we can do this easily today. We can easily hit 300 thumbs ups if you put your mind to it. Mermaid Sea, Cruise Life. Who else is here? Paula Havard. Bought more shares of Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and NCL. Mermaid at Sea. People need to stop buying things from China. There you go. Who else has got going on? Who else is here? Henry Miller is here. Hello, good afternoon. Do you think the ships will cruise in the U.S. islands when they reopen? From what I'm told now, the consensus now is that if cruise lines start to begin cruising, they will start with a handful of ships at a time. They will start with maybe 5, 8 ships at a time, and they'll add every 2 or 3 months a few more to the numbers, because cruise lines do not know. Airlines don't know. Hotels don't know. Shopping malls, private business people, we all of us, we don't know. Will there be a second wave of this virus that will absolutely put us on our backs? Will it teach us the lesson that we open too soon, too fast? Are we just not? Do we just not believe it, and we're now paying the price for not believing how bad this thing could be? It's all up in the air. The next month or so will tell us a lot, and so we'll see what happens. Henry, we'll find out. Brian, Bruce, you got 207 thumbs ups, man. This is great. Mermaid Sea, you got thumbs ups all over the place. Andrew Everts, Royal Caribbean needs the buffet. Just have servers, otherwise it'll lose cruisers. And Patricia Spin is here. Welcome, Patricia. I bought 100 shares of Carnival. Owner of Princess Cruise Lines, which is my favorite. I always wanted to own their stock and can afford the risk a bit for the long term. There you go. I think it's a great idea, and I hope you're already up on this. William Whitman, thumbs ups. Besame mucho, is that right? I think all travel industry, including cruising, will be reinvented completely, so it is impossible to make any predictions. But nevertheless, I respect your outstanding economical knowledge. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Look, I love all your comments. Just keep them PG rated. Be respectful of others, and I'm good to go. Hey, I'm not the be all and end all of what's going to happen here. I'm just hoping for the best. The Royal Way 411. Hi, Bruce. How you doing, guys? Steph K. Bye. Take care, Steph K. Tyler, I hope to get back on the Norwegian ship very soon. JRS, 208 thumbs ups, Bruce. Matthew, is Viking the only cruise company not to let go any of their U.S. staff? It's possible, Matthew. It's not like they have to announce it. It all depends on where your employees are. They don't really. There's no law saying they have to say. They're privately owned and operated. They could well have their employees working at a home right now, and they could have their employees on a reduced salary. We wouldn't even know. I can't say. I know that they were well financed, and I understand they've refinanced some of their ships, so they've got cash to last. And someday I would love to take a cruise with those guys. I really would. Sean Murphy got 3 cruises reserved: August 2nd, October 25, May 2021. Cross your fingers for that. I have on this channel, TWB, we have 2 group cruises. One, both are now tentative. One for December the 6th on the Royal Caribbean Harmony of the Seas, and one for February 2021 on Odyssey of the Seas. I don't know if both will happen or not. We'll find out. I'm hopeful, but so far they're still up and running. JC, what's up? Bruce from New Jersey. How you doing, JC? Welcome today. Chris DeScorpio, Chris from New Jersey, keeps wanting to know if I'm invested in cannabis stocks. Can't ask one, got to ask 5 times. Arc Adventures. Hey, Bruce. Hello from Andy and Andrea in St. Louis. Welcome, Arc Adventures. Nice to have you here. Allison Pickering. Hi, Bruce from Los Angeles. Allison and Joseph, welcome from beautiful LA. I think LA is one of the neatest places. I've always enjoyed traveling to Los Angeles. When I used to live in Palm Desert, California, I used to drive into town a couple times a week when I was doing some business down there. And I really enjoyed, this is way back now. This is going back to 2007, 2006, 2005, and 4. I used to plot my trips into Los Angeles. Timing wise, I would get to downtown LA to Union Station, where the railway station is. Kitty corner from Union Station is Felipe's roast beef sandwiches since 1912, something like that. And I would head into Felipe's for their roast beef on a bun, their double dipped French dip roast beef sandwiches. Sometimes I'd mix it up and get the pork sandwich, but oh my goodness, was that good eating? Oh my gosh. And it's all because of Huell Hauser. I used to watch Huell Hauser on public television, KCET, from Los Angeles when I was in Palm Desert, California. And he had gone to Felipe's a couple of times, and I had to check this place out. He'd been to Union Station. I saw that beautiful place. He's been to traveling all over California and LA and area. And I checked out so many areas that Huell Hauser used to promote, including Felipe's double dip French double dipped roast beef sandwiches. If you folks ever ever get to Los Angeles, you got to go to old downtown Los Angeles, where Union Station is, the railway station. There's only one. Kitty Corner is that restaurant, and oh my, it's a landmark, and it is famous. And you find the locals; they're all locals. There's a reason the locals are there. It's so dang good. Letty Font is here from Miami. Welcome, Letty Font. James, Steph K by brk.a. Here we got stock promotions going on. Carol Fassett, Bruce, 220 thumbs ups and climbing the Royal Way. Hi from Boca Raton, Florida. Barry Craig, Barry, how you doing? The Royal Way. Nice to have you here from Boca Raton. Welcome to the show, the channel. I'm glad you could make it with us. This is beautiful. Rob Smith from Alamo City, 95 here today. Welcome, Rob Smith. Who's this here? Keyring 86, Flint, Michigan. Welcome, Keyring 86 from Flint. Colleen Sachs from Orlando. Welcome. I've been to Orlando many a time too. Welcome, Colleen. Stephanie, enjoyed my first Patrons Hour from Houston. Stephanie, I'm so glad you're here. You're one of my newest sponsor members. Folks, I was communicating with Stephanie today to make sure she would join me on my sponsor membership show. She made it. She got there, and so glad you could get there, Stephanie. Welcome aboard, one of my brand new sponsor members. I know I've been adding a few the last few days. I've been having YouTube issues trying to figure out who's a sponsor and who's been joining and that type of thing, and I know Stephanie is one of my new ones. Welcome aboard. Patrick, Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Sounds pretty good, buddy. Welcome, Patrick, to the show. Nice to have you here. Diane, here from Cambridge, Ontario. Diane, I know the area well where you're from. I used to live in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario when I was a young man. I lived in that area from about 1966 until I turned 21, and that was 1977. And I grew up there. Became a young man in that region, and I know the area very well. Beautiful part of the country for Canada, Southern Ontario, Southwestern Ontario. I remember in the late 60s, when I was a kid, they would have radio stations playing local music. CKCO television was there, and some of the other radio stations. And I remember we used to get a radio station from London, Ontario, just about, 80 miles west of us. And they considered themselves to be in Western Ontario. And what music did they play? Country and Western music. They were in Western Ontario. I subsequently moved to Calgary, Alberta, Western Canada, way out west. And I would laugh in thinking of my memories of when I used to remember the radio station in London, Ontario, promoting the fact that we're in Western Ontario, and they were playing Western music. But Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario is home of Oktoberfest. That is a German community. So I used to wear lederhosen and play oompapa music for big money when I was in college, and I went to Cambridge many a time. And welcome, Diane, from beautiful Cambridge, Ontario. Kate is here from Naples. Welcome from Naples, Kate. I'm glad you made it. Maurizio Goog. Okay, likes Google stock, I guess. The Royal Way, hi from Boca Raton. Welcome. Hey, Arc Adventures from St. Louis. Hey, one line you don't hear much news about is MSC. What do you think of their chances of survival? It's very good. They're not going anywhere. They're well funded. I mean, extremely well funded. They're a private concern from Switzerland. The mother company, the actual parent company of MSC, is MSC Container Ship Company, with 540 offices around the world. They're the second largest container ship company on the planet. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be around a long, long time. And so they may not need to raise money from any bankers in a public way. They're a private company anyway. Janet Baker from Bangor, Maine. Welcome from beautiful Bangor, Maine. My daughter has a very dear friend of hers who is now living in Maine. If I could tell you the name of the city, I'd tell you, but I can't. It's inland. And she's now a tenured professor. My daughter is of the age now that her girlfriends from university are now becoming tenured professors, because she was in a master's program herself. And this gal is one happy gal, to say the least, in this world. David Wyatt, thumbs ups. Thanks, David, for being here, watching me. I'm glad you could make it to us today. From everyone at TWB, welcome. Ekatak Mako, Kauai Costco has live chickens on the patio. Yeah, in San Bernardino and in Rancho Cucamonga, they've got the pigeons because you're eating outside, and in Kauai you got chickens. What can I say? Just a bill. What rules govern recreational drug use on cruises? The rules are you don't do it. Don't even bring it with you. Don't be trying to do any of that on board a cruise ship. Oh man, are you in trouble? Yeah, there are no rules. There's no permission. There's nada. That's what it is. Zane, when Norwegian and Carnival secure these huge loans, does the money go to support all of their lines or just the namesake lines? Oh, good. Well, for Norwegian, they will raise money as the mother corporation, Norwegian corporation, so they can use it any way they want. So all of their lines, and the same with Carnival. Carnival does not send Holland America to the banker to raise money. They don't send Princess over here to raise money. No. Carnival, as the mother corporation, just talks to their Wall Street bankers. They bring in a couple of $1 billion, and Princess needs $100 million. They just wire Princess $100 million. They talk to their management team and they figure out their finances for their entire cruise lines, and they take care of the entire deal. That's how they do it. Caffeine-free Diet Coke. Cheers to all of you. Welcome to TWB. Nice to have you here. Thanks for giving me thumbs ups for this show. 265 of you still hanging around as I'm saying hi to everybody. Really appreciate you being here. Morizu, good evening from Willow Beach, Ontario. Welcome from Willow Beach. Now, you got to help me here, man. Maurizio, where is Willow Beach? Are you on Lake Huron? Are you Lake Erie? Are you Lake Ontario? I'm guessing Lake Erie or Lake Huron. That's what I'm guessing. But you got to help me out here, buddy. Tell me where you're watching me from. This is great. Romel, hello, Bruce. I'm overboard. I'm on board offshore vessel right now. I'm Filipino, but always watching your show. I worked on Norwegian before as a second officer. Thanks for a nice show. Romel, thank you for following me. Appreciate that very much. Thank you for your kind words today. Thank you for you've probably worked your tail off for these folks, and I appreciate that, and I'm sure they do too. And I'm hoping that better days are around the corner for all of us. I want to, if any of your fellow national Filipinos are watching, greetings from Creston, British Columbia, here in Canada, where I'm safe and I'm healthy and safe, and all is well here. I live in the land of privilege. I want to say thank you to all of you out there who work so hard doing what you do. I've had nothing but absolutely wonderful experiences whenever I've gone on a cruise with all of the nationals that are on board cruise ships. But I got to say, and it still gets to me, even today, it still gets to me. I remember my first cruise on a modern cruise, and that was in 2008 on the Holland America Oosterdam. And it was a 7-day cruise from San Diego to Mexico and back. And everything was new to me. Everything, I mean, it was all, most of it was new. I did have memories as a child, having been on an ocean liner across the Atlantic. But this Oosterdam cruise brought so many memories back to me from my childhood, but also all these new experiences. And I got to tell you, I went to the big showroom, the great big showroom, on the afternoon of the last full day at sea, because we were just steaming back to San Diego to finish our cruise. The next morning, we would be getting off the ship. And there was a show being put on by the crew. A show was being put on by the crew on the last day of the cruise. And there were just all kinds of performers. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And they were all crew members, and a huge number of them were from the Philippines. And they were singing at the end of the show. They were wrapping up the big finale for their show, and there had to have been 200 or 300 crew members on the stage at the same time. It was really emotional, and they were all singing to us, wishing us safe travels from wherever we came from. Because they knew on board the ship that there were at least 60 nationalities represented from the crew, but there were as many from passengers. Passengers from around the world were on this cruise, and they were all wishing us the kindest, best wishes, and they were all extending an invitation that someday you must come to the Philippines, because the people of the Philippines are wonderful. So thank you, Romel, and all of your fellow workers, crew members on all lines, on all ships, for everything you do, for as hard as you work, and how you pamper us and spoil us rotten when we're on cruise ships. I cannot thank you enough for your kindness and always being there for us to take good care of us. I really appreciate it. So welcome to the show. This is wonderful. Royal Way, hi from Boca Raton. Welcome. John, hi, Bruce. John Griffiths from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. John, welcome to the show from down under. Your country is a bucket list of mine, as is New Zealand. I cannot wait for the day I do this. I keep threatening Jennifer. It's going to happen. Someday it's going to happen. I don't know how. I don't know when, but it's going to happen somehow. I got to get down there, and I love the fact that I have viewers from that area of the world. It's just thrilling. Lama Hermosa Rosa from San Diego. Hi, Rosa from San Diego. Welcome to my channel today. Mermaid, see, I got 2 cruises this year. Right on. Chris Scorpio, I bought 50 shares of Carnival when it was at $9 a share. Well done. They're now 14. Well done. Carnival. Royal is can't stand it. Royal wants to tell me so bad. He's watching me from Boca Raton. And I get it. It's all okay. It just takes me a while to get to my messages. I have so many of them. I can't keep up with them. They keep coming in faster than I can read them. So bear with me, folks. I'll get to your message. Andrew Everts, any news on Canadian cruise ports? July 1 is all I know. I'm waiting for the extension, though. I'm waiting to hear it at any time. Matthew Hoffman, San Clemente, California, 65, rain today. Gas now, 269. Live chat rules. TWB, hope you and your YouTube upload situation is closer to be resolved. I sure hope it'll happen. We're still in the same scenario here. I can only do live shows right now. I can't put up videos at the moment. I'm hoping that'll fix soon. We'll see. Diane Brown, looking forward to cruising again. Listen to your doctor and don't take any medication because someone else says they are taking it. We'll see. JRS, Jan, 228 thumbs ups. Thanks, Jan, for that. We are moving up. Sean is saying buying Carnival at $9. Good buy there. Truck and travel cruising on the Carnival Glory September the 6th out of New Orleans. I don't have my hopes up though because Carnival didn't say they are sailing out of that port in their press release. Yeah, they could well be delaying that for a while. I'm just like I say, I just don't know if there'll be any cruises this year. December 6th on the Edge. Patrick wants to know, what do you think? And I'm going, I hope so, but I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't any cruises this year. Allison, when you have 100 shares, you get the onboard credit. That is correct, Allison. When you own 100 shares, you get to earn onboard credit. Paul Wilson, Bruce, I remember when we were trying to get 50 thumbs ups. Congrats on your growth. Yeah, Paul, isn't that something? I remember I once had 38. And I'd been on the air for an hour and a half, and I had maybe 40 people watching me at the time, and I was saying, do you think we could make 50 thumbs ups? We need 12 more. Of the 40 of you who are here, have 12 of you maybe not yet put a thumbs up? Could you possibly do that? And I think we did it. I think we recall it was a big deal. Yes, but it's all relative, isn't it? Back then, of course, I would have had maybe a couple thousand subscribers, and I was brand new at live streaming, and here we are now at almost 55,000 subscribers, and 267 are here right now, even after me blabbing on for an hour and 23 minutes. I still have 267 watching. It's incredible. I think though a lot of you have come and gone, and there's a new people here that weren't here at the beginning, but welcome one and welcome all. Flaps Down Aviation. Hi, Bruce. The aviation industry is slowly starting. As a student pilot, I just got an email that my instructor is planning to start in the near future with it mandatory for students to wear masks. Very interesting, sir. Very interesting. You'll have to keep me posted on this. Colleen, do you think that cruise lines will reflag their ships outside of the Bahamas and Bermuda due the current state of the cruise industry? I don't know, Colleen. I can't see why. They will not turn them into U.S. corporations. That's the last thing they would ever do. They're never going to do that. So is there a reason to leave the flag of the Bahamas or Bermuda? Don't know of one. I don't know of any reason why they would need to do that. Minnesota Jim. Hi, Bruce. How you doing, Minnesota Jim? Welcome to my show. Sylvan. Caminos Real in Boca. Adam Ryan. I understand that cruising will take time to come back, but if they test out a few ships in the Caribbean, ships can get crew from Central America in a few days. Yes. If they start cruising again, that means planes are flying again. If planes are flying again, hopefully international travel is traveling again. And if that's the case, you can get crew from the Philippines within 2 days into Miami. within 48 hours, you can get crew in and just start flying them in 100 at a time per plane load. And within a week, you're going to have a couple of thousand in Miami, no problem. And start dishing them out. Away we go. Peter Heckema, hi Bruce. Sad news about the snowbird accident. They are great ambassadors for Canada. Yes, in the United States, you have what are known as the Blue Angels. In Canada, we have the Canadian snowbirds. And the snowbirds were crossing the country doing flybys to kind of thank the first responders. And they started way out in the Maritimes, and they were out there for about a week and a half. Then they flew over cities in Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. Finally, they got to British Columbia, the last province up here. I'm not sure if they were headed north or not from here after us, but they were in the Kamloops, which is from here about 6 hours by car away from me, north and west. And they were going up into the air to do some fly demonstrations, and one of the planes had a mechanical malfunction right after takeoff, and it was in the air for only 40 seconds and came straight down. Two people on board, they both ejected, but the pilot survived with non-life-threatening injuries, but broken bones. And the second individual passed away, did not survive the ejection and landing with the parachute. And all are saddened by that. Now the investigation is ongoing, and the rest of the flybys have been postponed indefinitely. It's a sad story, but it does happen with these kinds of aircraft from time to time. Brandon Nope, will cruise lines with private islands have a better shot of starting earlier than others who do not? My guess is yes, because it'll be easier to sell the public, the cruising public, hey, why don't we get on the ship in Miami, go for a day at sea, go to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, have that, get a day at sea or two, go to Labadee, do the private resort there, day at sea, come back to Miami. Maybe we can do 5-6 day cruises like that. And you're not going to downtown Nassau, you're not going to the Cayman Islands, you're not going to St. Kitts, you're not going to Dominican Republic, you're not going to Cozumel right now, you're not going to be exposed to all the folks on shore, and vice versa. You're only going to be on the private islands where it's yourselves. We have a handful of staff on these islands, all tested. That might be the easy sell to start the ball rolling. And I can see all the cruise lines in the Caribbean with private resorts and islands trying that to start things off. I would not be surprised. Flaps Down Aviation, 234 thumbs ups, 314 in the chat. We can do this. We're going for 300 thumbs ups. We're trying to hit 300 thumbs ups, folks. Help me get there. December 6th, I'll see you then. Right on. Who else is here? Allison is saying, I live in Canyon White area near downtown LA. It is very nice. Oh, right on. Canyon-like area near downtown LA. That reminds me of a movie I just saw about 2-3 months ago. It's been out a couple of years. It's all about Laurel Canyon. It's is it called Sounds of the Canyon or Music of the Canyon? And it's a kind of a historical kind of look back at the music from the mid 60s, sort of 65, 66, 67, that window in the Laurel Canyon area. Love that movie with the son of Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's son was the host of that show. They did a sort of an on-stage concert, and he did a bunch of interviews with the stars of the day who are still with us. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It was the last time Tom Petty appeared on camera with any kind of official interview. It was the last time Tom Petty. No one knew, obviously, including Tom. But if you get a chance, it's either called Sounds of the Canyon or Songs of the Canyon, something like that. Laurel Canyon. Look it up on Google, and it's been on. It had been on Netflix. Very cool. Andrew Everts from Indiana. Welcome, buddy. Minnesota Jim, love your channel. Will MSC sail in the Caribbean April 2021? I hope so. We'll see, though. Maybe. That depends. Allison Philippe's roast beef, double dipped French roast beef sandwiches in downtown LA. One location only. Legendary. All the locals go there. Absolutely. I just saw the name Jacob Dillon. Thank you. Jacob Dillon was the host of that show. Beautiful. Great movie. Matthew, we are 100% all working from home here at Viking. and no one I know has been let go. Princess is down the street from us, and they are 4 days a week now. Matthew, welcome to the channel from Viking. I keep forgetting that you're until you tell me. I always forget this, but thank you for being here. I just wanted to show you something. Let me see if that's right here or not. I can't remember. No, that's not it. Sorry. I thought I had something here that I could show you. And I've got this messy desk here, absolutely disheveled and not good at all. But I did receive, I had received a package from Viking Cruise Lines about a year ago, maybe a year and a bit ago. Came in by like a courier, and I had no idea that anything was coming my way. I come home one afternoon. I was downtown running around. There's a box at the door, and open up, look at this box, and it's from Viking. Viking Ocean Cruises from the U.S. I go, you gotta be kidding me. And I come into the house, and I couldn't believe it. Open up the box, and inside were all kinds of goodies from Viking Cruises, and a note, a handwritten note from the what was it? The social media department. I think that was the department, telling me keep up the good work. And I thought, wow, this is so heartwarming and so gratifying, because when you are sitting here in your living room in Creston, all alone, Jennifer is in the back of the house in the television room, back in our bedroom watching TV. I'm all by myself here. I'm talking to, this camera, and I'm looking at myself right here. And I see your comments coming in. I don't know who's watching me. I don't know if anyone from any cruise line watches me or not, but obviously someone at Viking was watching what I was doing, and they liked, I guess, what I was doing, because I am a fan of Viking Cruise Lines. I've never taken a cruise with Viking. I would love to be on a river cruise one day. I would love to be on an ocean cruise. I'm very interested in this exploration ship for Great Lakes cruising, and also the Mississippi for river cruising. But to get that package was really monumental. It really was the only cruise line that has ever sent me anything without me asking. I've never asked. I did ask the folks at Hall America in Seattle, would it be possible to have some goodies sent to us, like a grab bag of goodies, because I wanted to hand it out. I wanted to give it away to my viewers, which I did with the Viking stuff. They sent me all kinds of stuff, which I did a draw. I did a draw on one of my shows, along with the product from Hall America, and it went over beautifully, of course. And so, thank you, Viking, for those comments, all of you out there, and all of you at the Viking Cruise Line Company, Princess Cruises, Hall America, Cunard, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Silver Sea, Norwegian, Regent, Seven Seas, Oceania, all of you, MSC, and Disney Cruising, and of course, Virgin Voyages, the folks who are trying to get off the ground, Virgin. I wish all of you nothing but the best from me. My kindest wishes, my undying love and support. I can't wait for you guys to get back to work. I want you to cruising again, because I want to be on cruise ships badly with my viewers. I can't wait for this to happen. Allison is saying, Bruce, you're talking about the French dip sandwich, aren't you? Yes, I am, at Philippe's. I'm talking about that double dip French dip sandwich. Oh man, it's so good. Andrew, Great Lakes Cruises on my bucket list. Clifford, good evening, Bruce. Hi, Clifford. Allison, Huell Hauser was great. He passed away a few years ago. He was on for 18 years, 20 years. California Gold, and visiting with Huell Hauser. I mean, he would go to places you had no idea where he would go next. He would go to a donut shop in Glendora. And you'd watch this half-hour show on PBS where here's this guy interviewing the owner of the Glendora Donut Shop, and you'd be wondering, why am I watching this? What is this? Why would I care? And within 5 minutes, you're hooked. You're hooked. You can't turn the TV off. You can't stop it. You watch. There were nights where Jennifer would say to me, "Come on, we got to go to Costco. We got to do some shopping," and a Huell Hauser show would start, and the two of us would be sitting on the edge of the couch watching the show. And we'd be looking at each other. Well, it's only 15 more minutes. Let's just watch it, and then we'll go to the Costco. And we'd watch the rest of the show. We wouldn't leave to go to Costco, because he's so engaging, and he was so genuine, and he was so real. I never met the man. I would kill to meet him. Tennessean, an original Tennessean that went out to California, And he would interview people from all walks of life, all kinds of tourist places and out of the way places that you would just have no idea what he would be doing next. And you can watch his shows on YouTube. If you enter Huell Hauser, you'll see some of his episodes. It's just a guy with a microphone and a cameraman. That's it. That's it. I'm trying to remember his cameraman name. I'm trying to remember the name of the cameraman right now. It'll come to me. But anyway, he and his cameraman went all over California and would interview people and go to different sites and different famous places. And you would learn stuff about California you had no idea. And I'd lived there for 7 years. Learned stuff. Discovered a lot of that because of him. Anyway, great channel. Steaming Bean, Bruce, hanging out at the train station in LA, laughing out loud. Not really. Come on, man. Matthew Hoffman, Philippe, best sandwiches on earth. Been eating there 55 years. You know, Philippe's, you know. If you're a local, you know about Philippe's. You absolutely know. If you say you live in Los Angeles and you haven't been to Philippe's, you're not you're not from LA. You're not. You couldn't possibly be from LA if you haven't been there. It's impossible. Sugar Williams, Bruce, have you tried Howlin' Ray's in Chinatown in NL? No, I have not. So many more places to go. I mean, I've only scratched the surface. Oh my gosh. Who else is here? Sylvan, I'm booked on Harmony of the Seas December the 6th. I hope it doesn't get canceled. That's our cruise. Ark Adventures. Oh, and the quarantine dinner update we had. Tilapia, mashed potatoes, and green beans. No dessert, though. David Woodbury, good evening from Palm Desert. Oh, man, I used to live there. You're killing me. I used to live in the Monterey Country Club. I used to rent a condo there, and oh, do I miss it badly. Every day I think about that area. I miss it terribly. Diane Brown, just got word today by email. My luggage that has been on vacation since March 13th in a Celebrity Florida warehouse because of a valet mix-up is on the way back to us tomorrow. Yay! Way to go, Diane. That's good news. I'm glad to hear that. Steaming Bean, happy Victoria Day, Bruce. Thank you, Steamer. You're the best. Sean, hello from Colorado. The stock answer is yes. Scott Weber, Huell passed away a few years ago. I loved his show. We all did. Everyone loved Huell Hauser. He actually made it to The Simpsons. They actually had him on The Simpsons for an episode. I couldn't believe it. I can't remember what they called him, but it was like Howell Hauser or something like that. He mixed his name up. Fantastic. Sylvan Forest, Delray Beach is where I'm watching you from. Fitzroy Phillip, thumbs up for you. Hemant Punjabi, hey Bruce, what do you think about the cruise ships? Will it be sailing in the Caribbean this year? Nope, I don't think so. I don't know if there'll be any cruises until 2021-22. I really am skeptical that it's going to happen. I did hear today a bit of breaking news for you. The Bahamas, the rumor is July 1. The rumor is July 1. But I think what that means, I think what's happening in the Bahamas is that the cruise lines are making a deal with the Bahamian government to say, look, if we can start cruising, once the CDC lifts everything late summer, let us go to those private islands in the Bahamas. Open the Bahamas to us for our private islands only. And let's see how it goes first before we go to downtown Nassau, before we go to Freeport. And that might be what I'm hearing. But again, I just don't know. I really don't know. Steamer wants to know, how much is membership? Steamer, if you want to know how much it costs to become a member of this channel, just go to my homepage and hit the join button. It's all there. All the information is there. It's private between me and my subscribers and my sponsors, and you can find out for yourself. It's just that simple. It's easy peasy. Donato, if everything got normal already, which cruise will be perfect to visit Paris without worrying to be late going back to the ship? Oh, if we were sailing and you wanted to visit Paris, well, as long as the ship was docking in the north of France, I'm trying to remember the name of the port at the moment, it escapes me. There were trains and scheduled short excursions to Paris for sightseeing, and you're guaranteed to get Paris in, and you won't miss your cruise coming back because it's run by the cruise lines. Le Havre, I think it's the name of the port, Lehavre. I think it's Le Havre. So that can be done, just like Rome can be done in Italy. Mermaid, what is your ranking on Royal Caribbean? I like Royal Caribbean. I've been on a few of the cruise lines, but not enough of them to rank them from top to bottom. So I can't do that yet. I need more time. But I enjoyed. I was on the Explorer of the Seas, and apart from going through a major cyclone, we had a good cruise. Amy D, hi from Kyle, Texas. Do you think Galveston will be ready for the Allure of the Seas, November 2021? Not right now, unless they build that facility out, which they've postponed and delayed. So it might be until 2022 before that port upgrade is done. They had to build a brand new terminal to handle the Oasis, that Oasis class ship, and I know it's been held up. So we'll have to see. Congrats, Stephanie says Jan. Matthew, Felipe's original French dip sandwich, a 101 North Alameda, California, for your subscribers. Right on, folks. If you want to know what it's like, just copy that Felipe's original French dip sandwich. Go to YouTube and just look up Felipe's on YouTube. There are videos all about Felipe's by all kinds of YouTubers over the years, and you can see for yourself how plain Jane the place is. You got to line up to get your food, then you walk it to your table. It's plain Jane, but oh my, it's a landmark for LA. Right now, I'm not sure if they're in business or not. I'm not sure how it's working. Are they allowed to let people in 5 at a time to get the sandwiches, and then they have to leave the premises? I don't know how this is working. I don't know if they're doing deliveries. I don't know what, but Felipe's legendary in LA. Scott, hi from North Queensland, Australia. Welcome, Scott Hanny. Nice to have you here from down under. Alex, Bruce, ever been on Silver Sea? I'm hoping to when things open back up. Alex, I've not been on a 6-star cruise line like this one. That is a bucket list of mine, and I would love that to happen someday. I really would. Rebecca, born in 66, visited Calgary in 78. I moved to Calgary in 77. So yes, Calgary was about 480,000 people in 1978. Today, about 1.2 million people in Calgary, having tough times, though, with the oil patch these days, but still. Beautiful place, she says. Scott Weber, Matthew, I know where it is. Also nearby is the San Antonio Winery. ABC Adventures, Arc Adventures, excuse me. Curious, how many videos do you have? And do you ever rewatch your videos? I have done over 1,100 postings, uploads, of which about 700 are videos, and 500 are live shows. I do occasionally will watch a video of mine from yesteryear. Occasionally I'll be on YouTube and I'll see a video of mine being recommended that I haven't seen in a year, 2 years, and I'll sometimes take a peek at it. I do go down the nostalgia highway from time to time to see what it was like when I was new. Like we all probably do. Yeah, I do that. Debbie Emanuel, hi everyone. Sorry, super late. Welcome to the show, Debbie from Chico, California, one of my sponsor members and one of my followers for a long time. Debbie has been a follower of mine since before I had 1,000 subs. I'm pretty sure from before 1,000. Jan, I was working in Kitchener in the late 60s with Whipper Billy Watson as a supporter of our endeavor. Oh man, Whipper Billy Watson, the wrestler. Unbelievable. I used to watch wrestling on CKCO, was it CKCO television, channel 13 in Kitchener, Ontario. Oh my gosh, my father had a music store right downtown King Street and Scott Street in Kitchener, Ontario. Dressler's Music Center was the name of my dad's music store that was run in the 60s. He ran that store from 65 until about 84, 86. And I worked there as a teenager until I was 21 years old, helping my dad out in that store. Loved working there. And across the street from us was the brand new Market Square. They built a brand new shopping center across the street with an Eaton store in there, the People's Jewelers and all these guys. And that's all gone now. It's now the building is now a newspaper. It's the Kitchener-Waterloo Herald, the Herald for Kitchener-Waterloo. That's downtown in that building. Things have changed. They always do. And I have fond memories of KW, Kitchener-Waterloo, Jan. Love that area. Love Bingham Park roller skating on Fridays and Saturday nights. Loved it. Paul O'Reilly, loved to watch Huell Hauser. Also, both he and you inspire us to get out there and create lifelong memories. Huell Hauser, I tell you, I got my daughter to watch him. I mean, she was 12, 13, 15. That's a tough one to get your daughter to watch something that you watch when you're in your 40s. That took Huel could do that. She would watch. She'd be pretending to do her homework on the couch, but I'd catch her doing that. She'd be watching him and listening, and then she'd see her smiling when he would say something that would catch your funny bone. I remember one day I told my ladies, Jennifer and my daughter, I said, gals, we're going in the car this Saturday. We're going to go and see trees. And they went, what? I said, we're going to see trees. I wanted to take them to see a particular tree in Santa Barbara, California, that Huel Hauser had visited. The largest May tree in North America that was imported from Australia in 1840, something like that. Brought over by a sailor, and it was given to a young gal who planted it in their front yard in this community in Santa Barbara, California. And the city over the years has changed, and the tree is now in this park. It may have been transplanted there a few years afterward. It was in an area that is now in a park that the tree is historical. You can touch the tree, but you can't mess with this tree. It's protected by the state of California Parks Department. This thing is huge. I mean, huge. And Huel Hauser went and visited the tree, went and talked to people all about it to find out the history of this thing, showed photos from the 1800s, the early 1900s, the 1930s, and the 50s. This tree kept growing and growing, and it is a massive tree. It is wider than tall, actually. It's actually wider than tall. It is 300 feet wide. It is the width of a football field. That's how wide the trees are. And the trunk of the tree has got to be 50 feet in diameter or greater. It's absolutely unbelievable. And the roots of a May tree are like fingers coming out of a trunk, out of the stump of the trunk. And the fingers, in between the fingers, it's 8 feet high. So you're standing between a root and a root, looking at the trunk, and the roots are higher than you are. That's how powerful this tree to stay standing up. And the tree was like 250 feet tall, but 300 feet wide. And I needed a picture. I needed to get a picture of Jennifer and Jennifer Jr. under the tree with the tree. I wanted to get the whole tree and nothing but the tree with the 200. I had to walk back. So far and then work with my zoom lens on my camera to try to get the shot of the whole tree, but to still see the two of them standing there. They were specks at the bottom of this massive May tree, this gigantic historical monster of a tree, absolutely beloved. I'm assuming it's still standing today, and amazing. Anyway, so I took them to see this tree. I know we did go see a couple of other trees, but I can't remember. I know one of them was on another trip. We went and saw a tree. This is on another trip entirely in Monterey, the cypress tree, the famous cypress tree near Pebble Beach, the golf course. And that whole area there is a park. And there's a cypress tree that's on the end of a spit of land. And on three sides, this rocky thing is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. And right in the middle of it is this cypress tree that is the most photographed tree in the United States. The most photographed tree in America is this cypress tree. When you see a picture of it, you go, oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that picture. I've seen that tree. Yep. You'll all know it when you see it. And you can't get within 100 feet of that tree now because it's protected. It's fenced off. No one gets to that tree at all. And it's still standing there. It's got some wires holding it up, though. I think the parks people are making sure it doesn't get blown over in its older age because it's iconic. Anyway, Huel Hauser. This is all Huel Hauser. Memory lane for me. Janet Baker on vacation this week as it was picked back in January. So as to feel better, I'm living out of my suitcase for a week. You're on vacation. That's good stuff. Scott Weber, Fernando, maybe a river cruise. Carol is telling me I have 240 thumbs ups. Is this good stuff or what? Jan is saying the same thing. I only need 60 more. Jan is saying you only need 60 more thumbs ups and you got 300. Now, how about that, folks? Come on, give me some thumbs ups here. Let's hit that number. Susan, details for Royal Caribbean Lift program that lets you reschedule next year for the same price. I'm not sure about that. I don't know how that actually works. Silman, there are free roaming chickens everywhere in Kauai. Andrew's showing off some chickens. Ekatak, Mako, and roosters. I guess so. Debbie Manuel. Hi there, Sylvan. Hope Florida is beautiful again today. Eddie Hernandez. Hi, Bruce. Mr. Bruce, I really love your YouTube channel. I think you're awesome. From Corpus Christi, Texas. Thank you so much. From beautiful Corpus Christi. Marioso, Lake Simcoe. That's where I am. Willow Beach, north of Toronto. Right on, man. Welcome. That means you're near Barrie, Ontario. And my sister was born in Barrie. I used to live there. Not for long, but my father was in the armed forces in that area. Sylvan, thunderstorms just ended at 72 degrees. Fitzroy, thumbs ups. Good show tonight, Bruce. Thank you. Jan, hey, Debbie, I'm on the Downer Police Patrol looking out for you all the time. That's not fair. A thunderstorm just started in Northern California after a beautiful sunny day, like 74 still here, says Debbie. Arc Adventures. You just mentioned Lake Erie, Bruce. We love Lake Erie at Sandusky, Ohio. Cedar Point, ever been? We're big roller coaster fans. I've never been to Cedar Point. I've seen a show about Cedar Point on PBS. It was a show all about roller coasters and parks over the years that were famous for them, and definitely Cedar Park was highlighted there. Looks gorgeous in the summertime. Cindy Bridges, Sylvan Forest, we have been having a lot of rain here in southeast Wisconsin too, flooding everywhere. Debbie Manuel, late at work, then no 4 p.m. pops, 7 p.m. show. Oh my goodness. Joseph, hi from Regina, Saskatchewan in Canada, 25 Celsius here, which is 77 Fahrenheit. Welcome, Joseph, from beautiful Regina. Nice to have you here. Greetings from Creston, British Columbia to you. Tim Bowman, we really enjoy the cruise shows on the Hall America ships, Oosterdam included. They're very emotional. They really are at the end. They truly want you to come back because they know, these crew members, they know that if you don't come back, they don't make a living. They know what it takes to keep you happy on a cruise ship, Hall America included. And if you ever get a chance to check out one of these shows by the crew, you want to do it. It's heartfelt. It really is great. Jan, better late than never. Just hit the like button on your way in. Please, everybody, hit the thumbs up button. Let's get to 300. Thanks. Keep an eye out for me for Jan, says Debbie. Curtis, Oosterdam, Love in Any Language is sung by all the ship's crew. Been there. Sylvan, Hall America crew talent shows are great. JRS, 245 thumbs ups. Jan is saying, my pleasure, Debbie. Flaps down, 248. You only got 52 to go. The thumbs ups are coming in. Paul Nyler, my Prospect, Illinois. Welcome, Paul. Beautiful. 285 thumbs up, says JRS now. We're so close. Folks, keep those thumbs ups coming. We're going for 300 before I get off the air. Kenny Corman. Hey, Bruce, my grandfather was Crusher Corman. He was good friends with Billy Watson. Oh, man, these names. Oh, my. Do you remember Big Al? CKCO television in Kitchener, Ontario. Big Al, he used to have cartoons. He ran the cartoons every morning. I think Big Al was on 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, if I recall. And he had the cowboy hat on. He had the cowboy shirt on. Big Al, he was a big guy. Of course, being in Kitchener, Ontario, it was easy to be big because all that German food, oh man, how can you not? You got to love it. Flaps Down Aviation saying, Bruce, you got 13 thumbs ups to go. You talking about Big Al and talking about Huelhauser, you're getting thumbs ups from people because of that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Come on, guys. Throw those thumbs ups for Bruce. Virtual hugs with thumbs ups. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. We want to hit 300 thumbs ups today before we go off the air, and then we'll let the folks on the reruns get all the rest of them because I know folks on the rerun always pile in to thumbs ups, and then we'll get up to 500, 550, 600. It's incredible how many thumbs ups come in on these shows on the reruns too. I love it. I love you guys for it. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, the old days when you're kids, the stuff you remember as a child, it's unbelievable. I used to remember Captain Kangaroo, but I really didn't watch him much because it was from America, really. I remember Romper Room. I remember that show as a kid. And I remember The Friendly Giant on CBC. Oh, my God, The Friendly Giant. I hear that theme song. I lose it. It brings you back. It just takes you back. Ray, 13 to go. 13 thumbs ups away. We must be sitting at 287 thumbs ups right now. I can't tell you. I wouldn't know. I don't know how many thumbs ups I have. I can't tell you because I can't see that stat here on my phone or on my big ass iPad. I just have to take your word for it. And those of you who are watching for me, I really appreciate you letting me know. Ray is saying, Bruce, You are at 11 to go. JRS, look up, way up. The Friendly Giant. Yeah, you'd start the camera down by his boots and where all the furniture was, and then slowly you'd come up and you'd come up to the Friendly Giant. Oh man, how many children in Canada were brought up by the Friendly Giant every day, Monday to Friday? Carol, you need Jennifer and daughter to model on Redbubble. Sales would go up. There you go. Andrew, are there cruises to the Northwest Passage? There might be, but I hope there won't be. I'd really rather keep that area clear of cruise ships. But, exploration ships are moving up there. Jan, that's why we are here, Bruce. Memory Lane. Giant was great. Friendly Giant was great, says Sylvan Forrest. He knows. He was in Montreal. Steamer, the hilarious House of Frankenstein. Bill, Wheatcraft, any cruise news at all? Where were you the first hour, man? I've been on for an hour, 2 hours now, talking about all kinds of stuff. You have to watch a replay of this show. I did a video early today for 13 minutes. Cruise news galore. Right now, it's hanging out with the gang here. Platinum on Royal Caribbean after one more cruise. JRS Jan saying you got 290. Ray, you got 291. Sylvan, Ernie Coombs. Is that who that was? I don't remember. Excursion views with all train. Hey, Bruce, I wanted to know if the Bahamas Celebration Cruise Lines will survive. It was the 2 days out of Florida. Yeah, they have two ships. Both are former Caribbean versions. One was a Costa ship and one was a Carnival. One was a Carnival ship, one was a Costa ship, both Carnival ships. Doing those back and forth cruises. I'm hoping so, but I don't know how deep their pockets are. And it's up to the CDC. Will the CDC allow them to operate? I don't know. I'm just not sure. Ferrari, one, wash hands. Welcome, Ferrari. David, hi, Bruce. Hey, David, how you doing, buddy? Flaps down. Let's stall Bruce so we can get to 300. Frightenstein, not Frank Framskenstein. Carol, 3 striped officers said only 100 crew members left on his ship. Interesting. Steaming Ernie Coombs was Mr. Dress Up. Mr. Dress Up. Also on Canadian television, JRS, we can do it, Flaps. We need to get Bruce to 300 thumbs up. That was the Friendly Giant. And who else here? Mermaid Sea, they will survive. And Zane booked on Northeast Passage on Crystal Endeavor if it goes. That's the Russian side of the Arctic, right on. Mermaid, just saw them the other day. Adam just hit that thumbs up for Bruce. Jan, still 10 more needed, Bruce. You need 10 more thumbs up to get to that number. Frightenstein, thank you. I'll do the best I can. Just saw those ships the other day. Guys, thank you for following me today. I really appreciate it. 203 of you still here. I love that. And thanks for your support of my channel, picking up TWB merchandise, of course, on Redbubble. The links are down below if you want to get to the RedBubble store. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, I've got one or two of these left now. This right here is mine, but if any of you want to get one of these cell phone amplifiers, smartphone amplifier for TWB, got a couple left to go. This unit right here is a cell phone amplifier. You put your cell phone in here, the sound comes out here. There's a logo as well on the back. You can see the top. It's a solid wood unit. The phone goes down there. The sound goes down through there. As sound comes out here and goes here and comes up here and gets amplified across your room, across your deck, in your office, in your kitchen, wherever you want. No assembly, no batteries, no power cord. All au naturel, handmade by Marshall Thompson. There's his handcrafted stamp on the bottom here. If you want one of these, it's a $50 US $50 donation to Traveling with Bruce, which you make on my donate button. Should be down below. It's the PayPal connection, the PayPal donate button. $50 contribution includes shipping and handling. You'll get your own cell phone amplifier from TWB. And those who've been getting one, they love them. They find them. They work very, very well. And like I say, I think I got 2 left. That's it for the first batch. And after that, if any more orders come in, I'm going to have to talk to my buddy over at Marshall and see if he can make me some more. But right now they're handmade a little bit at a time, and there's only a few made at a time. And I think I got 2 left to go. All right, fantastic. Who else is here? Flaps Down Aviation saying, I asked before, but I'm not sure if you said, what is your thumbs up record on a live show? 500. I think I've had 500 once. I had maybe 450 people on the air at all times. It was a big show. It was something really crazy going on. And we were at like 215, 20 minutes. And then I started begging. After that, we got up to 400, and then I hung around until we hit 500. I think it was 500, but that was a while ago. Stein, I don't know what that means. Mermaid, Bahamas cruise ships aren't going anywhere but the Bahamas. Jan, I hate to add the downers, but in a pinch that would do. Ferrari. Book the Virgin Scarlet Lady in October. Mermaid, when the Bahamas opens. Andrew, thumbs ups for Bruce. Flaps Down Aviation, 7 to go, Bruce. You only need 7 more to get to 300 today. Be ashamed not to get 300 now. JRS Jan is saying my amplifier really works, especially when the alarm goes off. I love it. Yeah, you can put your phone in there, play your songs, play my videos, put an iPod. If you're listening to podcasts, it'll blare it out across the room. Put it beside your night table and put your phone in there in the evening. And when your alarm goes off, your phone alarm, you'll hear it because you got your little alarm, you got your little amplifier right next to it. Fantastic. Flaps Down, just take away your thumbs down and give it a thumbs up. Emily, I was eating dinner with family and I'm still having a problem with my sound. I see you, but I can't hear you. I don't know what to say other than you may want to refresh, but I don't know. Arc Adventures. Till next time, Bruce, as always, we love your live show. Jan, you are sounding desperate, Flaps. Really, as long as you can give a thumbs up, give Bruce a thumbs up. Something going on with my computer. Flaps, no chance we're breaking that. JRS 294, 6 to go. Sumita Chandri is here. Emily, I'm looking forward to getting my COVID sextant mask. Right on, Flaps. 5 to go for your 300 thumbs ups. Andrew, is crews stuck on ships? Are they being paid? In most cases, they are. Ray, those people that dislike, change that to 5 more thumbs ups. Silman, good night, Bruce. Thanks for a great show. Thank you, buddy. Sumistra saying hi. Emily, Flaps Down. Yes, I did. Tim Bowman, my wife reports that the unit works on our deck. Right on. I figured they would. Ray, 2 to go. 2 to go. Flaps Down, 300. You got 300 thumbs up, Bruce. Mark saying hi from Baltimore. Hey, Mark Baumgartner. How you doing, buddy? Andrew Everett saying 300 thumbs up. You got 300. Flaps Down, virtual high five. Ray, we did it. Jan, 299. Mermaid, have you ever been to Siesta Key? Not been there. Jan, 300. You made it. Rebecca, breaking out my other accounts for thumbs ups. There you go. That's a way to do it. Carol, thanks for everything. You are awesome. Thank you, Carol, so much. Ray, 301 thumbs ups. Well above 300 now. Thanks, everybody, for helping me get to 300 thumbs ups on this live show in 2 hours and 2 minutes of broadcasting. I'm going to pack it in because I'm losing my voice. But I want to thank you all for being here today and joining me. Love the fact that you engage with my channel and follow my videos and help me with info when people ask questions. Some of you are right there with the answers. I love that. That's what this show is all about. We are a bunch of cruise addicts that can't wait to go on our cruises again. And thank you, all of you. Good night, Sandy and Jan. Thank you. Ray, 303, Bruce. Mermaid, see, you're not at 300, but congrats. Mauricio, cheers, Bruce. Ray is saying good night, all. Thank you, Ray. Janet is here. Thanks for the great shows. Thank you, Janet. Thanks for the great shows. Who else is here? Andrew Everts is saying, see you, Bruce. Love TWB. Mermaid, unless it updated for me. Cindy, great chat tonight. See you next time. Thank you, Cindy. Ferrari, thank you, Bruce. Thank you. Jan is saying, thanks so much, Bruce. As useful as ever. We make a great team. Matthew, good night, Bruce. Thank you, Matthew. Ray, great job with the likes, everybody. Herman, this is again Herman, the German from Hamburg. Who will buy the cruise ships from the companies who died? Aren't there enough ships? Well, they'll buy the new ones. They might not buy the old ones, but they'll buy the new ones. The old ones will be picked up by third world countries and be used as ferry ships. That would be my guess, but we'll see. Curtis, thank you, Bruce. Curtis, Trinidad and Tobago, but I don't think anyone's going under for a while. Flaps Down Aviation, it's about 3 thumbs ups a minute. It's true. It really is. Stephanie Dory, bye, Bruce. Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you for being a sponsor member now. I love it. We'll see you next Monday. And in the meantime, too, guys, Matthew, 305 thumbs ups now, man. That's great. Mermaid, congrats. Brenda Fleming, hi, Bruce. Missed you last week. Welcome, Brenda. Donato, thank you. Flaps Down is saying bye, Stephanie. Ray, good night. 306 now. JRS, bye, Flaps. You take care. Okay, guys, that's it. This is Bruce saying thank you for joining me today. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you, Paula, for being here today. Patrice, thank you as well. Have a great evening. Keep an eye on my channel. I'll probably be doing a video again tomorrow. It'll likely be a live version unless I can get this thing figured out with the YouTube people. Sean Murphy, take care. Bruce, thank you, Sean, so much. In the meantime, take care, guys. Have a great evening. I appreciate you being here. Janine, a good night from East Tennessee. You're squeezing it in, Jeannie. Welcome and thank you. Herman the German, you're my friend. Said thank you, Dankeschön, my man. Thank you very much. Ray Avezi, 309 now. Jan, thank you. You too. Curtis, stay safe, everybody. All right, guys, I'm out of here. We'll talk to you next time. Take care for now. Goodbye, everybody.